Hello, this is Christine Tui, Uptown Eco Agent, where resource control makes good things grow. And I want to talk today about what a real estate agent is and what a real estate agent does. And the best way to understand the work of a real estate agent is to understand fiduciary duties. What are fiduciary duties? The first fiduciary duty. And why is it important to understand fiduciary duties? Because if you have had a negative experience with a real estate agent, then you can most likely locate that negative experience within a breach of one of the 6 fiduciary duties. The first I'm going to discuss with you today is loyalty. What is loyalty in the context of real estate? Your real estate agent, who, by the way, is not your real estate agent until you sign a contract for representation. Did you know that? If they show you houses, if they call you, if they're nice, if they give you information, none of these things make that person your real estate agent. The only thing that makes somebody your real estate agent is a contract for representation. And that's a great contract that will spell out very clearly your duties and theirs, and you'll be glad you have it. So if you have an agent running around, showing you houses, having extensive conversations with you involving price, terms, and motivation, and not explaining to you how agency works in Minnesota and what makes them your agent, you're already in a vulnerable and confusing situation. You're already working with an agent who's disregarding a couple of the most important rules that we are to operate under, and you might want to consider finding yourself a new agent. Loyalty. What does loyalty mean in the context of real estate? Always, 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 your real estate agent must work in your best interest, in your best interest. So if we are seeing a house and I want to make a sale and I see some kind of sign of defect. Now, I'm not the expert in property condition. That's going to be your inspector. But I've seen a lot of houses, I've seen a lot of things go wrong. I kind of know perhaps a little bit more than the average Joe what are the signs of defects in a home that one needs to worry about. And maybe it's tempting to divert your attention away from that defect because I want to make a sale. That is a violation of the fiduciary duty, loyalty. It violates another fiduciary duty we'll talk about later as well. But for now, in the context of loyalty, I am not working in your best interests in that type of a situation. If I make that type of a decision, I am working in my best interests. And it's very important as a real estate agent to have that clear and to make the right decisions. And the second fiduciary duty that you need to understand when working with a real estate agent is obedience. Obedience. Believe it or not, we are obligated legally to follow your instructions as long as they're legal. That means if you see a house online and you'd like to view it and we say no, well, you can't really do that. What we can do is we can educate you as to why we don't advise that house for you. But ultimately, you are the one who chooses which house to see, which houses to see, and you make all of the decisions regarding your real estate transaction. All of the price, all of the other terms of the purchase agreement, the closing date, you are the one who's in charge. We're there only to provide you with information. Now, you noticed earlier I said as long as they're legal. What would be an example of an illegal instruction? Well, there are lots of examples of illegal things, unfortunately, in real estate, but the most common situation is if you express a preference that violates our fair housing protected classes, either the state or the federal protected classes, we are not allowed to follow that obligation and in fact must terminate our agency relationship with you because that's a violation of the law. The third fiduciary duty I'm going to discuss today is confidentiality. Confidentiality. Whatever information that you disclose to us in the process of getting your pre-approval or finding your home is information that's protected and it's confidential, and that's not information that we are ever going to disclose to any other party except the parties that you've given us permission to disclose it to as a part of that transaction. For example, closers, insurance agents, loan officers. The fourth fiduciary duty is disclosure. Disclosure. This means that whatever information we know that can impact your purchase of the property or your use and enjoyment of the property is something that we must disclose to you. This includes any relevant defects, any important information about the neighborhood or even the neighbors that comes to our attention. Whatever we feel you would need to know, and we know we are obligated to disclose to you. Reasonable care. Reasonable care. This means that we need to take the time to do a good job, whether it be meeting with you in person, if that's your preference, to explain the documents that you're signing, taking the time to explain and ensure that you understand the parts of the process every step of the way, and taking the time to show you the homes you want to see. Of course, everyone wants to find you the house as quickly as possible, including you, but we cannot say, all right, here are the 2 homes you can choose from, let's see them both and you can pick one. We cannot do that because that violates the fiduciary duty of reasonable care. And the last fiduciary duty is accounting or accountability. Whatever money we receive on your behalf during the transaction is money that we must be accountable for. Now, typically this is going to refer to your earnest money deposit, which we'll discuss more in detail later. Thanks for listening. This has been Christine Toohey with Coldwell Banker Realty. Remember, resource control makes good things grow.